if you don't deal with it correctly, um, it's going to come back and bite you. And if you eject Lysol, that's definitely going to come back and bite you. Trump's been just like kind of back and forth on
I can't tell if
supporting
Trump is trying to
Fauci.
kill his own voters or not.
But the thing is, like, he's said some crazy stuff and encouraged some crazy stuff with his liberate Minnesota, liberate Michigan tweets. But then also, when Governor Kemp of Georgia, who's a Republican, said he wanted to reopen the state, Trump said it's too soon.
But then he's gone back and forth on that. Like I've seen him say, "Good on you for opening up the economy. Don't be afraid." Yada yada yada. But then also, it's too soon. So not only he flip flops back and forth. He doesn't have a consistent position within his own party.
He doesn't have a consistent position in his policy either, because he's saying
Obviously.
stuff like liberate Minnesota, but he's saying it's not a big enough deal that we need to shut down our economy. But he's also saying it's a big enough deal that we need to suspend all immigration, which is not a bad. On paper,
he said he was suspending immigration. In reality, he's not suspending immigration at all. He's basically just not letting people apply for green cards, but he's still allowing healthcare workers to come into the country. He's still allowing food and farming agriculture workers to come in.
But the thing is, like, on paper, stopping immigration during a global pandemic is a good idea.
Sure, yeah.
But when it's, well, we need to open our economies, but also we need to stop immigration. Those paired together, immigration suddenly doesn't seem like it's about the health of the people. It seems like it's maybe something else. And, it's kind of just undermining his message, the fact that you can't tell what side of the message he's always on. Biden, at least whenever he has appeared, he's been saying the same stuff. He's been saying this is why we need stronger social safety nets. This is why we need to make sure that people have more affordable health care, and we need to make sure that people stay inside and stay safe so we can flatten the curve. And Trump says that, half the time, maybe a third of the time, but he's inconsistent on whether or not he thinks that, shelter at home orders are good.
And when you say something wrong, it gets much more coverage than when you say the right thing.
Especially when you're the president of the United States.
Although I will say, whenever Trump says the right thing, it does get a lot of coverage because I feel like a lot of people are surprised.
Yeah.
But when you say inject yourself with Lysol, it cures the virus, that gets so much more coverage. Mm-hmm. When you say that swimming pools kill more people than the flu, that gets more coverage than if you say the right thing, not a real Dr. Phil. Like, that's the problem. And it's super, super difficult to be consistent and on message. And it is super, super difficult for both of these candidates because they probably are struggling to keep, to keep a consistent messaging going. But like, you have to do it.
Old, out of touch candidates. And neither of them have been good at leading during this virus. Neither of them, like our country's two strongest leaders have been a doctor and the governor of New York State. Which is not the best look for our country in general, I think.
For all the people who complain about flyover country and like, you're right to complain about flyover country. Like it's very, very, I don't want to say it's very, very, it's telling about the state of our country that the two people we're listening to are the governor of New York and admittedly a White House expert on pandemics, but also, I mean, Fauci he's an East Coast guy.
Yeah.
And people in California, they're I feel like a lot of people are not, I mean, they're following they're listening to their local leaders and everybody's following what their governor is saying, which of course you have to do. But as far as the news is going, I mean,
Fauci's actually from New York City also.
That too.
So, I mean, you have Trump, the New Yorker, Fauci, the New Yorker, Cuomo, the New Yorker, and Biden, the Scrantonite Delawarean. So, like, it's all East Coast people.
East Coast bias, man. It's not just in football. But I don't know. I just think it's interesting.
Yeah.
That this is the way the country's shifting. It's like, we're in a crisis. We're going to do like what our base, what our gut is telling us to do. And what are we doing? We're like putting a microscope on New York City.
We're trusting New York City more than anything.